was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW-LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC-LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us in the Cindy Cochran Show. We're on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, live streaming on YouTube. I wasn't very live last week, was I? No, I wasn't. So sometimes I have to be gone, but we have a program playing. In fact, my numbers were actually better last week when we were gone, Richard. I hated to see that, but that's so. I don't know what that was. Anyway, it was great. I mean, because we had good numbers. So anyway, I wanted to tell you that these times when Richard and I get to converse, and it's just he and I, and instead of saying just Cindy, you got to say, like Cindy and me. You could do that, or say.
I just say it says no guest.
No, that was the word. Don't say no guest. Then they'll go like, it's going to be just Cindy. No, it's you and me.
All right, cool.
So that they know you're going to be part of it, and y'all better be seeing him in full glory because he does these little squares of him before, and I go like, Richard, they want to see you, especially with your haircut and all. How cute you look. You really look good. So I'm glad that you full.
I'm at the top left of the screen. I'm right above your head.
No, don't. You're not in a full screen.
No. Don't say that, Cindy.
Well, it bothers me because I really think people want to see who you are. But anyway, I'm driving here down 105, and I look up, and there's a car in front of me with two Santa legs hanging out of the back with the
I like it.
With the trunk shut on them, and the legs are just dangling out. And it's like he was trying to crawl in the trunk, and it was very creepy. I don't understand. They must not have children that would go, what did you do to Santa? I can't believe that. I hope you had a great Christmas. Did you have a fun Christmas?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Oh, it's a VFW. They're just saying hi.
Oh, well, I was being friendly and saying hi too. Okay. Anyway, what did you do?
We went to Beaumont. We actually we were going to go see family, but then someone in that family got COVID. So
oh no!
They told us not to come, and I was like, we're all old, so
that's terrible.
Keeping it safe still.
Yeah. So you visited her mom and dad?
Yeah.
Okay, her mom, and had her sister. She has sisters and brothers.
Yeah, she's a sister. We just went to Beaumont last minute.
I was just
put it all together right last minute.
And I sent this very sweet text to you that I want you to have a safe trip and be sure and tell Holly congratulations on becoming an RN and graduating. Did you do that?
No, she's not RN yet. She has to take her boards.
Oh, but oh really?
It's separate. Like you have to go to a accredited school to basically allow you to take the boards because the boards are maintained by the state of Texas.
Are
nursing. So it's nothing to
they
do with school.
verbal test or
no? It's like a
written test.
It's something complicated. She was telling me about it. It's because they have to make it hard, but they have this system now where you go in and there's no limitation to questions. It basically judges you as you answer each question. It puts you on this graph, and then like once you get, she was telling me, he's like, if you answer a hard question, they'll make it harder and harder because they want you to get it wrong. And if you get one wrong, it'll make it easier. But you have to answer so many questions correctly for a threshold where the system will be like, all right, you can be an RN.
Well,
So she doesn't even know how many questions it is. It could
She
be.
has no idea.
Yeah, I think she said like if she does everything perfect, it's 75 questions, but no one really hits 75. It's either like 125, and she's like, you'll know if you hit 150 that if you failed. It'll tell you like right then and there, like you failed.
they tell you before you leave, you failed. Well, I
And you
mean,
can only take it again once, I believe.
only one time?
Yeah, I think that's how it works. And then you can't become a nurse.
Ever?
I think that. Yeah, I think you can't be an RN.
You can be an
Yeah, or-
LVN?
Yeah, she already passed that. She already has that license.
She has the LVN license. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cutthroat.
I think that
Happens all. I think when she was telling me when she started school, there was about 200 students. She graduated, I want to say, with 42. And so those 42 nurses are able to take the boards. So how many of them are going to pass the boards? It all depends on how the school did their stuff. Because I know if she passes the boards, that school, Lone Star, will get like a credit. Saying because that's why they make it so hard at the school, because they want you to pass the board because they want people failing the board because that looks bad on them.
so she doesn't feel like they've lowered at all any of the standards because we need
No,
nurses
they made it
so
harder
bad.
apparently.
Oh man.
Yeah, this test is new. I think they implemented it literally right after COVID. Like it's a whole new testing thing.
Do they have is it the criteria to have shots? Do they have to get all the shots, all the COVID shots and
Yeah.
all that stuff?
They
have to do all that.
Yeah.
Before they can't refuse it.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think it just depends on where she's going to be working. She says residency at Memorial in the OR here in the Woodlands. So it's a pretty hard spot to get. And so I think they only accepted one. But when she applied, they opened up a second one for her because of her resume.
So the Woodlands, she's going to be in the
Yeah.
Woodlands? Wow. I've been in the hospital so many times.
Yeah. She's the nurse who's going to be setting up for the doctor to the whole room, set up everything to make sure the surgery is prepped, ready to go.
You know what I found out? Well, we did a lot of video for the Woodlands Memorial at Silver Rock.
Yeah.
And so we'd go over there and shoot a lot of stuff in there for them. And then I found out that a girl that sat in front of me all the way through school was married to the head of the Memorial Hermann Hospital.
Yeah.
And so I interviewed him, and I said, now let me ask you this. So do the people in the ER, if your wife comes in with like a heart attack or something, and they know this is your wife, are they going to take her first before everybody else? Is it going to be that kind of deal? And he goes, oh no, they always do. They know my wife. They know she's my wife, and she comes in.
Well, I
That's
mean, the
what's gonna
chances of
happen.
that happening with all the hospitals around.
She had a heart attack and had to go through there. And he didn't tell me that. He was just saying,
Yeah.
of course I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't interfere at all because whoever came first and was the worst would go in and all.
Sure.
That's what I know. Like I said.
Sure.
Now that doesn't make me feel safer if I was married to you, but it was really an interesting thing because they started the jazzy is for Danville.
Yeah, Jazzy Junk.
Jazzy Junk. Okay,
It is Jazzy Junk.
that's
The
what
store.
she started. She
Yeah.
started that, and they got the doctors together to build that the thing at Danville. What's the name? Anyway, where parents that have autistic children or
Yeah.
children
So they can just pass them off.
they have a place for them to go, and they learn a job, and they learn to be as independent as they can be, and it's very very cool. And I was so proud of her that that's what she's been doing. Anyway, because she had a child, and that's why she
Great
started
story.
that. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Did you have a good Christmas?
yes, I didn't have to do anything, but I did anyway.
That's
I didn't
nice.
have to. Well, they didn't want me to cook or anything because I had this heart cath on that last
you
Tuesday.
have no idea what's going on right now.
Yes, I do. This isn't the drugs talking. I didn't take any drugs at
Yeah,
all.
I was kidding.
I don't know what they gave you, but it's like a twilight sleep. So
Yeah.
they rolled me in I'm going to have a heart cath because they thought they saw an abnormal. This is so hard for me to say.
I know.
An abnormality.
I'm listening to it.
Is that the stroke talking?
Yeah.
No.
I don't expect you to know exactly what they did to you.
No, but I do know, and
Sounds like you have an idea. Like they did something.
no, because they thought they
Still
saw
have
something.
my toes. There's 10 of them still.
They thought they saw something on this stress test, and I thought, I'm so stressed at that time when I took that stupid test, but it was something that the doctor who went through and did the exam, I guess the search for it, said that there was nothing wrong. Everything was great. My heart was great, and I can't believe I called you in the recovery room.
Yeah, you did. You didn't make any sense, and I was like, whoa, who's driving you?
Sam was calling people. I said, wait. I have to call Richard. You give me the phone, I'll call Richard. And he said, well, I'll call him later. I said, no, I need to call him and tell him right now that everything's okay. It was just hilarious.
I was worried.
And
But
I
you're
thought
here.
back on that.
You're a
I can't
soldier
believe I
here.
did that.
Coming back this week. Coming back this week.
I know. I'm really so proud of myself
Yeah.
because I almost called you today and went, "Are you sure you want to do a show today?" Because I was
hoping
feeling
you'd
like
say no.
you wanted me to do this show.
No, this week is one of the weirdest weeks.
It is.
As I don't know if it's always been like this, because being a little kid, it was
Always.
different. But like here, being an adult, I feel like everyone just kind of like, well, we don't really do anything this week.
Right.
So
Nobody
let's
wants
just kind
to
of do it. Like when I talk to my friends or family, and it's kind of like, yeah, I have to work. Oh, great. I have to work.
This is the week before
But
summer
do you
vacation.
have to work? Yeah, like do you have to work? I don't know. Well, I mean, especially with this post-COVID world where everyone could be remote. It's like, yeah, I'm just remote. Like I had breakfast this morning with one of my good friends at Pie in the Sky around like 7:00. And I go by his house, and he comes out with a laptop. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I got to finish up some stuff from work. And I'm like in the car? Yeah. Okay.
Man, I told my grandchildren, y'all are so lucky. Y'all are going to get to stay at home and do your schoolwork. This is great. And I mean, you have us here to say, hey, what is 4 + 4? And we help you with the stuff. And it took about 3 days for that to go away. And then I would walk in and try and listen to what the teachers were saying.
Are you talking about during COVID?
Yeah, because you said they got used to working at home, right? Because of COVID?
Yeah, I mean, certain jobs are like, okay, you really technically don't have to be here for certain aspects of your job. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see where the kids, that hurt the kids real bad. But the adults, to be able to lay in bed and, in your pajamas and sit there and do your stuff.
Yeah, we had breakfast. It was nice.
That's amazing.
Go check out Pie in the Sky breakfast. No one was there. It was kind of depressing. I was like, okay, why is anyone here? It's really good. But then again, I was like, oh, it's that week, this weird week in the year where it's like, oh, we're kind of ready for the new year to start, but we're not ready for it to start just yet.
We need to have that whole week off. I mean, that this week off because you're in between times.
Well,
And trying
especially
to get
since
somebody
Christmas
to
was
come
on a Sunday, so it was a bank holiday yesterday, and then of course New Year's Eve is on a Saturday, so people on Friday are probably going to take off. So
Yes.
it's like, why are we even bothering? That's why what I've been doing here is setting up just all the shows for our new stuff and getting
Yeah.
ready, cleaning up and making sure the back's organized and getting ready for the
You did?
guests to come in. Yeah,
Good for you. You got the bathroom all cleaned up and everything?
yeah.
Okay. That's
Fresh
excellent.
toilet paper just for you.
Thank
Fresh
you.
roll.
That's an extra roll.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that because I hate to use a roll somebody else has used.
What did you think of the freeze? Or it wasn't really I mean, technically it was a freeze, but it wasn't like that crazy one we had last year.
No.
Or was it last year or 2 years ago?
Sam
I think it was last year.
flipped out. He did everything. He was going to shut the water off. No, we're on septic.
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to shut the water off and I'm going to drain all the water
Yeah,
out.
if you get the pump could freeze, and that's bad news.
And he just put in a new pump. Just put in a
Yeah.
new pump, and here comes the
That
freeze.
could be real bad news. The
But
rat,
it wasn't. It was fine. We had a fire. We had a fire 2 days, and he he wanted the heater on to keep the walls warm. But we can't stand. We never turn the heater on during this winter. I don't care how cold it gets.
Yeah, well,
we never turned it on.
Yeah, what I love is we're in Beaumont, and Holly's mother's house is built, I want to say, like 90 years ago. Like, it's an old classic home. And I remember going in there, and you can feel the cold on the like when you go to the bathroom and you can get in your walls. It's like you can feel the cold. And I was like, and since we're staying there, I was like, did you wrap everything? And she's like, well, yeah, I did the spigots outside. And I was like, well, let me go check those out. And she did an okay job. And then I realized, like, well, your dishwasher's probably going to freeze. So we need to do something about that. And then that was interesting. And then what I love is I'm going around the house the next day just to double check. And I hear water. And I was like, oh, great. Like, something burst. And it was the neighbor. And the water was coming into my mother-in-law's house. Like, not like the house, but like the garden area.
It was coming?
Yeah, that's how I noticed
through?
it. I was like, why is there water here? And then I opened the back fence, and I was like, oh, I think a neighbor's burst pipe. And then I opened the back gate, and I walk around, and I see they added on to the house, and for some reason they didn't want to put a slab underneath that section. So that you could see these pipes just burst and just shooting out water. And there's probably a 2-inch puddle underneath their house. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go check on the neighbor. So I knock on the neighbor's door, and it was this older lady with her robe on. And I was like,
good.
I was like, there's water all in your front yard. And she's like, yeah, I know. I was like, you probably need to turn off your water. Oh, I can. I called the city. They're coming. And so
she's on a septic.
No, this is city.
Oh,
and I was sitting there going like, well, I could turn it off for you. So we don't have to let all this water go into my mother-in-law's backyard. So I turn it off. And then I realized, it's like, I bet this lady doesn't even think about the water being shut off. So I told my mother-in-law, Joy, I was like, you might want to text her every day. And like, if she needs to use the restroom, she can come over here. And because a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, once you cut off the water, like
the restrooms. Yeah, well, Sam had everybody fill their bathtub up and fill up water. He had big 10-gallon water things everywhere. And then he felt like, you know what, if I just leave the water run, like the taps dripping, I think we're going to be okay. I don't think this is going to be as bad. And he had a heater in the pump system, where the system was. He had a water heater, a space heater in there. So I always kept thinking, if that goes up in flames, that's going to be bad. But he kept that going, and he kept coming in to make sure we weren't turning off the heater. Yeah. He'd go like, if y'all turn off this heater in the middle of the night, we're going to freeze the pipes, and it's going to be worse than it was last year. Yeah. But then he started seeing, you know what? I think just the dripping is fine.
Yeah, that's what we did.
So we let everything, all the water go. But the bathtubs was not holding the water in. It kept going down, and he goes, "Where's the leak in the bathtub? Where the bathtub stuff's going? Where's the water going?" And I said, "I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying to watch this HGTV show. Can you?" But he was just freaking out, and he kept coming over and checking everything, minute by minute.
Yeah, I'd rather have him freaking out than being like that neighbor lady who's like, "Yeah, the city is going to come."
No,
do you know when the city's going to come?
He really does. He takes care of us, but we can't stand the heat. We just can't stand when the heater comes on. It messes everybody up. So it was about 2:00 in the morning, and the heater, I think, kicked on, and the fire alarm went off. And so he couldn't understand that, why that was happening.
He's probably still trying to figure it out right
now.
Well,
Chad told me, he says, the new fire, fire extinguishers. No, not the fire extinguishers.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Okay, the fire extinguishers now.
Fire
detectors are so sensitive to any particle that rises up and hits, that goes past them. They think that's the prelude to a fire, so they go off. And we had a fire in the fireplace, and so it may have been wind blew particles up. I don't know. But anyway, he says, but when the heater comes on, it starts burning up the dust and all the schmuck that's in the lines, right?
Okay.
Right. You know, when you turn the heater on for the first time in the winter,
Yeah.
and it smells weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's all the dead animals up there.
no animal. There's no
Yeah,
animals.
probably a raccoon just burnt to a crisp up there.
Oh no. We have Fisher. No, I mean we have Moco Pest Solutions that comes out and they make sure there's no animals that get anywhere near. But one did knock over our garbage can. Sam said it was the wind.
Yeah.
I said there's no way the wind could have knocked that thing over. It was full.
Yeah.
It was so full.
Yeah, one of the nastiest things when I first started dating Holly, she lived in an old house that was converted to like a 3-bedroom apartment in Houston, like right there on Richmond and Montrose area. And her car would always have rats in the engine because it's warm.
Yes, it's warm. Yeah.
And then I found a dead cat in the dryer outside because the washer and dryer were outside. So that was fun.
It was dead.
It was totally dead. I had to get rid of
How
it.
did it get in there?
It's smart. It's a cat. And probably one of those people that duplexes or apartments left it open.
Oh, left it open. Yeah.
So
Ugh.
I had to drive all the way out there. I want to say it was at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. She's like, you need to come and get this cat. I'm like, I go, it's not hard. You just get a trash bag, invert the trash bag, use the trash bag to grab.
Oh, but that little stiff body.
It wasn't stiff. It was mush. I don't know how long it's been dead in there.
Oh.
It was pretty gnarly. I was like, this is kind of cool.
Do you think somebody turned the dryer on?
I have no idea. I thought it was pretty cool though. And then what's funny though, and I asked her, I was like, what's Houston's policy for dead animals? Like, we can't just leave it out,
Right.
because I know it'll get eaten. So we had to go and get like a certain tag for the bag, and then we put the bag in something case, and we put another tag on the case. So when the trash people come by, they're like, "Oh, it's a dead animal,"
And they know.
Yeah.
It is. That's pathetic. I mean, I know
Because
the
I told her we
smell
could
is
just drive
bad.
like 5 miles and drop it somewhere.
Yeah.
She didn't like that. I was like, just put on some rich guy's front porch. Here you go. You could deal with it.
You're so mean, Richard. I mean,
Well,
the thing about it is, you just have never grown out of that, have you? I mean, you talk just like some kid that is about 10 years old, and they go like, "Hey, let's take the dead animal. We'll put it on the rich guys." I mean, you've never grown out of that.
They have better resources than us, so we just.
Oh, that's practical. Okay, that's good. All right, now I have a question for you.
Oh, great.
Did you see Avatar?
No.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
We didn't talk about that, did we? I don't think we talked about. I saw Avatar.
I mean, you only call me once a day, Cindy. So.
Well, did we talk about while I was in the recovery room? No. Okay. Well, anyway, I saw Avatar. I didn't want to. I thought the first one was great, and I just couldn't think they could do anything better than what.
Well, they
was
probably
that.
did.
No, I don't think. I think they should have done.
I didn't realize the first Avatar came out in like 2007 or something like that.
Is that when it? I don't know.
I mean, it was a long time. I thought it was a couple years ago. I thought it was like 4 years ago. It's like, no, it's like 2000. I gotta look this up because when Holly told me that, I was like, I don't believe you. And then she was right. I was like, oh, wow. She's like, yeah,
2007.
let's see.
That is a long.
2009.
2009.
Yeah.
That was like.
Holly just graduated high school. That's how long ago it was for her.
Oh my word! Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
2009.
So he had a long time to make the second one, so I hope it's okay. I read good things about it.
Well,
You know, I'm not gonna lie though. When I saw the first one, I was like, cool. It wasn't like we went to go see it in 3D. That's the only thing that ever impressed me about it was it didn't look 3D. It was like high def. It looked so high def in 3D.
the first one was 3D.
Yeah, that was the big money grab. Was like you could see it in 3D.
Oh,
And it was like,
I don't know.
so that's the only thing I was really impressed. I was like, this actually looks really good. Like it's not the 3D where people are throwing stuff at you, and it's nothing like that. But it looked really good, and so I imagine Avatar 2 looks even better. And
Well, I can't tell you how long it took before I realized I hadn't put my glasses on. I went, good grief,
Yeah.
this is so. I mean, I kept looking back there, and I see all these people with glasses. And I went, oh yeah, that's the 3D thing I put on. Oh, that's better.
You didn't get like eye surgery while you're in there? I'm like, hey, fix these up, fix these up. But
they should've.
so it was good. You would tell people to go see it, bring their kids, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying. I think the one they made now should have been the first one, and the second one.
Well, they're making. I want to say they're making 4 total. So there's 2 more supposed to come out. If I remember
he's doing a George.
Well, because there's been a lot of interesting like movie news reading about. Like they're making I read an article about Eddie Falco, and she was in it. She was like in The Sopranos, and she was in a bunch of other shows. And she like was quoted, "Oh, I forgot I even filmed that because it was so long ago."
Oh yeah.
So
that's funny.
But no telling what James Cameron's doing. Like he does whatever he wants.
Right. But I think that, I mean, everybody I talked to said, yeah, it was awesome. It was just so awesome. But I just don't think, I think they were too young to know what the first one was really like. To see that first, I thought that was better than this one was. Or if they'd reversed it, it would have been even better to see that first one.
Well, it doesn't get me excited. The first one after I was like, cool.
Well, then I
didn't really care about the characters. The character, I mean, it was kind of odd.
It was. You thought it was off. It was.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, like, is it's not Nauru? Is it the Nauru? What are the people called? The blue people.
I don't know.
I think it was called the Nauru. But they were. I think the scale would really messed me up because the scenes they were in with humans. They were so drastically bigger.
Yes, yeah.
And then there were certain scenes that didn't seem that big. And I was like, man, what's going on? I feel like they're supposed to be taller than like a story, like a 1-story house. Like they're supposed to be as tall as like 8 feet tall, 8 to 12 feet tall.
Right.
And then when you see them go through certain things, it's like, see, they don't look that tall, but now they're tall.
But man, if you hadn't talked to somebody that has seen it, or they start telling you about what an avatar is,
well, then they start doing that hair stuff, and I'm like, what else do they put that in? And, a little tentacle thing. I mean, they put it in everything. It's weird.
And they do more even in this.
Yeah,
in
they
this
just
one.
keep putting it in everything.
that poor horse. That was. I thought it was genius how he constructed that and how he made a community of those people. But it's just. I don't want to spoil anybody's seeing it, but just.
Well, I think what frightens me too about the first one, the idea of being able to put someone's mind under like a fake body, because if you introduce that into a movie, it's like they've done some weird things with this, like knowing this mankind version of us. It's like, oh, that's how we're gonna learn about them, is we're gonna put our minds in this carcass, and then it's gonna be you. But then when you get disconnected, the body just kind of falls.
Well,
I was like, is our bodies falling everywhere? Like,
I'm telling you what, the avatar body is so perfect. It is so. No one is overweight. No one.
Well, looks millions
bad.
of people will be like, I want to do that. I don't want to be human anymore. I want to be this Naru.
Well, it's like the first one. The guy had no legs. He'd been in the war.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, clearly that's what people want to do. Yeah.
Right. It's like that's what's supposed to happen when you go to heaven, is that all that.
And if that was a real society, and this thing comes in and just drops dead, and occasionally wakes up, you'd kill it. I'm like, you're not one of us. I'm talking. Because when he leaves the conscious, the body is still there. So it's
right.
There's people falling over on it.
So when he comes back to the ship, when they come back to the ship, does that avatar body lay in wait for him to?
It just falls right then and there.
That's creepy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's really creepy.
That is.
Yeah.
But their body sure looked good. I mean, their body was just perfect.
Well, Cindy's prepped.
All of them looked good.
She's prepped.
But their nose and everything in their face was the only changes that would happen. Like their nose would be flatter, it'd be sharper, whatever. And that guy that was the main character in the first one,
the wheelchair
was so
guy?
cute. Yeah, he was so cute. And
now he's old.
But I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to him. Like
he's in the movie.
In the new one, I don't.
Well, you don't remember the end of the first one where somehow the magic of the planet basically transferred his consciousness into the new body permanently?
Right. Right.
So like
he was gonna stay
his
there.
wheelchair bound body's gone. He's permanently in the big blue guy now.
Okay.
Jake, I think his name was
He
Jake.
didn't look like it. I mean, I couldn't recognize him unless he.
What are you
he
trying
had
to say?
changed.
They all look alike?
No,
You
they
think all the
don't
blue
look-
aliens look alike? Man,
No, they all don't look alike. Your people.
certain glasses you need to take off, Cindy.
No, it was. No, they didn't all look alike. Their physique. It's funny. Their physiques were so perfect, and then but some of them were just shorter, a little shorter. And somebody was like really, really tall. But I think that it was just genius for them to create this other community. But now this show, this new one.
You were totally lost.
No,
it sounds like you were
no,
totally lost when you
No,
went into it.
this one brings in the element of war and of conflict between the real blue people.
Oh, inner conflict. Like the
Yes.
blue people fighting blue people.
Yes, yeah, and then
You're green.
and then,
We hate green.
and then the white people who
You mean
took,
the humans?
the humans that took
Yeah.
over the avatar bodies, come in, and then they're a conflict as well.
like it.
So it's
like-
more of
It's like a new version of drones.
action. It's more of an action show than the other one was. The other one was so beautiful and it was about love and all that stuff. It was really
Being one with Earth
Being
or
one-
Gaia.
yes.
I forget what they call the planet. But
no, but it goes into more detail.
Well, what's-
do you think that they have a game with Avatar? Like, is there an Avatar game
video game?
that you can build their community?
I
Yeah.
don't doubt it. I don't know. Probably a cell phone game that you'd play.
Well, tell James Cameron he may do something like that. But if he's going to have 4 of those, he's going to do 2 more.
Well, I want to say they filmed 2 of them already.
You know what? You're right.
But I
remember
want to
him
say there
talking
was
about-
supposed to be 4. I remember him saying that.
It's
like,
so expensive to have it, so they got to do as much as they can with everything while they've got it on there. I wonder if the writers are like sitting around going like, okay, because have they spent 4 years or however many years trying to write this and get the second one and the third one and the
well,
fourth
like I
one
said, they
done?
filmed it a long time ago. I want to say they filmed it 6 years ago. They filmed everything.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, so you're talking about them working on like editing
Yeah.
and doing all that stuff too.
That was the thing about Eddie Falco, the actress, was like, yeah, I thought the movie already came out because I filmed that so long ago.
Wow,
So,
that's interesting. Okay.
well, what I love, so like we're spending Christmas break, right? And all we see are ads for Top Gun, and the ads we're seeing are so funny. It's basically saying like the trailers, like, oh, we brought the movie magic back to the theater. Watch Top Gun today, and they make it sound like it's like an inspirational story. And then I was like, isn't that about fighter jets just shooting
Yes.
things? Like, what did I miss?
Maybe it was more patriotically
Yeah.
inspiring.
Well, like they were towing the line. They don't want to be too patriotic because if you're too patriotic, you're one of those people on January 6th who stormed the Capitol. So like we can't be too patriotic about it, but we also have to be inclusive. It was really fun. Like the way they were doing the trailer, I was like, man, this. All
Now,
right.
is this the one?
But I'm going to see Top Gun for sure. I haven't
the
seen it yet.
daily something, the newspaper, Daily Online or something.
Daily
like that.
Wire.
Yeah, they voted him as the last living true movie star, Tom Cruise.
People are afraid to say that because he's a Scientologist. Like, should we like him?
Can we like
Can we
him?
like this guy? Like, he's really weird. He probably knows like where the dead bodies are with the Scientology people.
Yeah,
So
wouldn't that?
I love it.
That's-
I love it when it
that's-
comes to that breaking point where some people, it's like, I don't like Tom Cruise. He's really weird.
No, I can't get over how good he looks still. I mean, it's starting to show. His age is starting to show. But
Oh, it's just now starting?
well, no,
I think he's almost 60, or he might be 60 years old. But then again, I don't believe anything in the movies. Like,
Yeah.
all the de-aging stuff. I was listening to a thing.
Yeah.
They did this whole thing with the new Indiana Jones movie coming out. Apparently, instead of doing de-aging, like how they done it before, they just took archive footage and
Mapped it?
repurposed it for Harrison Ford's, like, because I think there's a couple scenes in the new one where they have a backstory or a flashback and it's like they just used old footage, and that's what they did.
I just can't believe what else that they would do. What else could you do in Indiana Jones?
Are you
I
serious?
thought they had done everything. They've taken it all the way as much as I think they could take it, and then they're still going to go on with it. Is he an old professor, or is he?
He's an archaeologist, or not? I don't think he's an archaeologist. What does
He
call
was a
it?
professor.
Yeah, he's a professor, but yeah, there's always really cool things that they can find in the world, and it's like made up. I'm surprised they didn't make more because it'd been fun.
Well, it was.
Because it's always centered around something, right? Like crystal skulls, the Ark of the Covenant, you
Right.
know.
Ark of the Covenant was the
Ark of
best.
the Covenant, and then you had the cup of, what was it? Cup of Jesus, whatever that thing's called. Fountain of Youth kind of thing.
No,
What was the Temple of Doom about? I think it was just a made-up rock, and the rock did something.
there was something in there.
Then the rocks, the
temple,
three
and they
rocks do something.
Right, and they were trying to get all three of them together. And I can't remember what happened. What would happen if you had it?
Yeah, that's what I liked
Was
about
the
the Crystal Skull one. Just went for it. It's like, yeah, this is an alien ship. And you put this crystal skull on this thing, and the aliens appear. I'm like, man, someone took a lot of drugs thinking this one up.
But
That was a good movie too. I enjoyed it. It was silly.
I love the first one to me was always like the best. I don't know why it's difficult for me to see the second one because I know it's not going to be.
Well, the second one was a prequel.
The second one went back.
Yeah, it was before Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then I really liked The Last Crusade because it was fun. And it had Nazis in it. Like, you never go bad with having Nazis because you can kill as many Nazis as you want. People don't care.
But isn't it funny because people are trying not to do anything with the Chinese because they don't want
Well,
to
that's what I'm
make
saying.
them mad.
That's what I was saying.
And so-
When you watch the Top Gun stuff, it's like, pretty sure the first Top Gun had to do something with China. Like, I'm pretty sure.
The first one?
Yeah.
No,
It had something to do with China.
I thought it was always the
Like
Middle
Russian,
East.
it was communist. Or
I thought it was
you know.
Middle East stuff that
I
they
don't
were
know.
fighting.
Who knows?
Because no, it wouldn't be Middle East because they wouldn't have had.
And that's
the
why
jets
I
and
like the
stuff.
movies that just make up countries.
Just to make up a
Just
country.
make up a country. It's like we're
They're
not.
going to have to do that
Yeah.
just to stay, neutral, so they
Yeah.
don't get in trouble. I wonder
Like
what.
I remember we're watching. It was a while back when Holly and I were dating, and Netflix came out with like a Hallmark movie, some Prince, and they. Oh man, I forgot what they called the country because it was so absurd. And every time they said it's like Czechoslovakia, and I was like, wait, that cannot be a real place, and it's not. And I'm like, but they kept saying it, and it was pretty good.
I love that. Okay, so if you could define personality for me, how would you define someone's personality?
On their bowel movements. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to get you. How would you
I've been
define?
waiting to
how
say
would,
that.
How would you define personality?
Yeah.
I don't know if they smile or don't. If they smile or they don't.
That's pretty shallow, but okay,
Well,
I'll
I mean,
take that.
how many times do you smile a day?
All the time.
Well,
You
how many
smile
times?
All the time. You should.
So you can.
You should be smiling.
That's how you can judge someone's personality. Do they smile a lot, or are they just down and grumpy?
Do you think someone is joyous? That they're just you just feel like they're
that's
happy
what's
all
so
the
funny.
time.
They smile too much, like, oh, this guy's depressed.
Yeah,
He's smiling too much. He's hiding something.
yeah.
And
I
then-
had a psychologist say,
Yeah.
you know what, you're too happy, and I don't think you're that happy.
That's why
so-
everyone should still wear masks because we'll never know what you're feeling.
Right.
Like, look at those eyes.
Right. That's great. That's good. But you haven't defined personality though.
No, I don't want. Why would I
A
want to?
personality is.
Are you talking about like one of those like habits? Like, what are these person's habits? Because you can do those personality tests, but really what they are is like, what are these? Like, are they disciplined? Are they, organized? Are they disorganized?
But being happy or being depressed or being,
Yeah.
Shy,
Okay.
being someone
Are we
who's
taking a personality test? Is that what you're leading with this?
No, but people were talking about personalities over the television. They were saying this person, they walk into a room. When somebody walks into a room, isn't it strange to you that you feel like you already judge them, right? When they come into the room, you have
No, I
already
don't do
prejudged. Yes, you.
No, I don't. I was raised right.
No,
Never judge a book by its cover, Cindy.
read the pages, and then you'll discover who they are. So, I wrote that line in a song.
Yeah.
Can't judge a book
I'm
by its
more of
cover.
a book burner though.
You go right to. I go right to the end.
I just
and
book
read
burn
that.
the book.
You just burn the
Yeah, I was
books.
like, this can't be helpful at all.
Yeah, this might really affect somebody and
We don't want that.
inspire someone. Okay, so Richard loves to be uplifting and encouraging and wants you to feel good about yourself. And so that's how I would define his personality.
Yeah.
Psych.
I don't
What
take
does
crap from
psych
nobody.
mean? Why does somebody say psych? That was during the 80s or something when they go, psych. What is...
Like psych out?
No, when you say
I think that's
something...
what it's supposed to be like. I just psyched you out. Like
Yeah.
psych out.
Yeah, but
I don't know,
psych
Cindy.
means that's not true, right?
I don't want to look it up.
Look at it. Just see, S-I-K-E.
No, because I have to explain it to you, and then you're going to argue about it. And I'm like,
Me argue
Yeah.
about it. You're the one that
and you're
always
like, yo,
comes-
you read that on CNN. Oh, and it's going to become a thing. It's going to become a thing.
I think.
Wait,
I
okay,
thi-
no,
okay.
let's talk about this. You're talking about watching stuff. I did you enjoy all the news coverage of the weather?
No, I didn't watch it.
Because it got really it got extreme for me.
Oh, yeah, that's. Did they start trying to really scare you?
Well, I don't Well, we're in Beaumont, and we're watching the local weather because her mother watches the news, and they faked us out because they turned in the air pressure graphic where it's like, oh, it's cold air pressure,
Canada, yeah.
into tiny little arrows. And so when you see thousands of tiny little arrows going down the screen, what does that look like to you?
Wind,
Rain.
rain, not with an arrow.
Well, you don't know they're tiny.
Oh,
So
you're
if you're sitting here watching TV right here, and you're 10 feet away, 5 feet away, I was like, are they showing rain? Is it supposed to rain?
Oh no,
And I was like, that's a horrible idea to put tiny little arrows.
Especially
it
if
should
I
be
s-
like one big one,
Right.
And I was like, that looks like rain. That legitimately looks like rain. If you're just not paying attention, you're like, are they saying rain?
But don't you know they sit in a room like this with a long table and go like, okay, we've got this freeze coming. We got to make the most of this freeze.
Yeah.
We got to scare the people
Well,
to death.
she likes the Today Show,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just ongoing. And I was like, man, we know it's cold.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, let's film all these people freezing outside. Like apparently Buffalo, New York, got hit
Buffalo,
really
oh
hurt,
my
really hit bad. But like they just kept showing. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Over 65 people dead
Yeah.
because of that. That's ridiculous. But they would show these stores and they had these huge icicles. I mean, like something you see out of a movie, and huge icicles down in front of the store. And the lady said, "Here's the silver lining: is that those huge icicles that were covering all the windows kept the windows from breaking." Because they didn't break. And they said, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to go remove those icicles? Or, now that it's starting to, looks like it's over? Oh, no. We're going to let nature take its course and let them all melt. And so I went, that was so good because it was horrible. I remember we had a client from Time Warner that lived in Buffalo, and we talk about their weather, and we go like, how can you live there? I mean, how can you? Are you just trapped in your house, for all that time? How much food do you have to pack away in there? And they were just saying, well, it's just this. That's the way we are. I can't stand your heat. I couldn't come down there and live where
I
you
had to look
it's
this
hot.
up because I remember reading about this. Apparently, an average 15 Americans die from icicle-related deaths a year.
Now that's really strange. You wouldn't look up first if you're walking out and it's been snowing, and that's the first thing I look for, the icicles, to see what the icicles look like.
Well,
If
some
they're
people didn't.
melting or if they're
Some people didn't.
okay. Apparently they didn't. Those things go right through. You should see
I mean, they could get huge.
if they had the picture of this store in Buffalo, the front of it, you would go, that would kill. It could kill 5 people if it fell on top of 1, 2. They go right through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'd kill them.
And that's
Those
just in
are
America.
huge.
That's just in America. Imagine like a country that's cold all the time, like Canada or Russia. Well, we don't care about Russians now.
No, we
so-
don't care.
Yeah.
But Minnesota and Farquhar. What's the movie was
Fargo.
named Fargo.
Man.
Well, I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. Fargo. I love that movie. That was a great movie. But you can see where people just get crazy after just being in this. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You
Well,
can't
think about all those
move.
people who got stranded this last week just for travel.
Oh, right. I'm so glad. I mean, would you even think about traveling during these times, getting on a plane? Unless it was during the middle of the week and it was no holidays, none of that.
I don't know. People have their own schedules.
I mean, I would never plan something. You could go to
Some
Disney
people,
World.
Well, you're also talking about some people who have family across the country. Like if your mother and father live in
Right.
North Dakota, and I'm here in Texas, it's like
You should have never
how
moved.
many times do you?
You should
visit
have never
them?
moved that far away from them.
Some people are forced to work, Cindy. So the only time they can see them.
Texas has plenty of jobs.
I had a lady at Specs give me a hard time about them being open because I asked them, I was like, "It's really, I go, you guys are open on Saturdays. That's really convenient because a lot of times, if I remember, it's like if it's on the weekends, some liquor places just close because of the holidays." And she's like, "Well, we have to be here," and I was like, "Well, tomorrow's Christmas. Like you're guaranteed that off. That's nice." It's like, and then you get Monday off, and she's like, "Well, we still have to be here." I'm like, "Okay, sorry, you have to work. I'm sorry. I'm out of here. Give me my eggnog. I'm out."
That's about
Piecing outta
the
here.
only amount of
Because Holly was so mad. He was like,
of
"You just kept
listening to
rubbing it in
you.
her face." And I was like, "I didn't mean to rub it in her face. I think this is a unique year. Like if people work at Specs, a liquor store, they get Christmas off. A lot of times,
Richard, your attempt at sympathy is just
because they
falling
have to close
short
on
sometimes.
Sundays.
Yeah,
That
well,
was the thing. I was like, you have to close on Sundays, so you're guaranteed to have Christmas off.
did they say they were guaranteed?
Well, liquor stores have to be closed on Sundays, regardless.
Because the blue law?
Yeah.
I thought the blue law was gone.
No.
So we still have the blue law.
Liquor stores have to be closed on Sundays.
Well, see, I don't know. I don't drink like you do, but
Yeah.
I do
I'm
remember.
not ashamed of it, Cindy.
No, but I do remember what you said.
It's the only way I can understand you. Before you come in here, I do like 10 drinks. I'm like, oh, Cindy's coming in.
So mean. But I was hoping that would hurt your ear when I did that. I think that if you would just, okay, he says we've got 4 minutes left.
I like that I did 3 like the whole time. I was like,
You were doing 3?
yeah.
Okay.
You really need your.
As long as we talk, it'll be 3. Anyway, Thursday we're going to have our sponsor here. Are we going to come in here tomorrow? Or you want to replay this?
We can replay this.
Because then they can
'Cause
understand
people
what
love
we
this.
said.
People love this.
I know. They get to know you so much in such a deeper level,
So
We've
before we
covered
leave,
so
before we
many
leave,
subjects.
Cindy,
What?
should they go see Avatar 2?
Yes, you should go see it.
Okay, go
It's
see
a great-
Avatar 2.
It's a great popcorn
And
movie,
You'll be here Thursday. Wootton Financial will be in the studio.
and we'll be here with our new sponsor, Chris Wootton, and it'll be so much fun. And he's going to tell us about
Okay.
how to get richer in yourself,
I get it.
not money. No, he will. He's going to talk about money.
Well, we'll try to figure out how to steal all that COVID money.
Yeah. What are you doing with the COVID money? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been sitting in your
How can we take advantage of the next COVID?
right.
He'll know all about that.
He doesn't know. Yeah, that's what we got to ask him.
Well, that's what I
First
love.
question.
You always, know, about this, was it like 6 months after COVID? This guy's like, oh, I bought a Ferrari and I got caught. Yeah, you bought a Ferrari, man. Like, what?
I know. Anyway, Chris
like
is
that,
great,
though.
and you will
You know how many people did that?
love Thursday. How many people did that?
I would guess it's got to be at the quadruple digits. They like stole the COVID money and it's like, let's buy something ridiculous. Like I'm going to buy. Why would you buy a Ferrari?
But maybe some people went out and gave it to the hospitals and gave it to the people that were trying to, they didn't have food. They couldn't get out of their apartment, and they went around to the apartment and gave them food. Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be a better way to deal with that?
Or they should have paid their employees with that money. And that's what they should have done.
Speaking of, okay. Anyway, I just want to tell you we'll be here Thursday, and what show will they see tomorrow?
This one.
this one. So if you missed the beginning of it, oh please, you got to watch that. So, listen, I just want to say to the first responders, you know how much we love you, and we're so in awe of you, what you do every single day, and we appreciate it so much. So we just want to tell you we love you, and what's even better is, that's not right. Anyway, what's better than that is that God loves you, and he's so proud of you. You put a smile on his face probably every day. I don't know if Richard does, but anyway. Okay, we'll see you Thursday. Bye.